Hello everyone, it's Christine McAlister, the founder of Life with Passion, coming to you today to talk about procrastination and how procrastination actually is a form of self-sabotage. Now this may sound shocking to you, but here's the thing. I knew that for a long time I had an issue with procrastination. I also knew that people talked a lot about self-sabotage and that, I didn't have everything that I wanted. And yet I couldn't connect the two, for a long time. I thought, well, I don't know where I self-sabotage. I don't know how I do that. I'm not conscious of how I'm doing that, but surely I am in some way, right? So I finally made the connection reading a book by Denise Duffield Thomas. And she talks about what we do to cause ourselves RSIs, which is repetitive sabotage injuries, right? Instead of repetitive motion injuries, repetitive sabotage injuries. And something that we do over and over to hold ourselves back from our goals, from our dreams, right? For whatever reason. And it's a way of keeping ourselves safe. And since October, is associated with Halloween and spooky and all of that kind of thing, fear is something that we're talking a lot about this month. Fear. The idea of fear, my dog is rolling around on the ground in the background on her back, just having a grand old time. That's what you hear. Fear is so prevalent among female entrepreneurs, right? Fear of what people are going to think of us, the fear of judgment, the fear of failure. Procrastination, I once heard a friend say, is fear in high-heeled shoes. Procrastination is a form of fear. It is an active form of self-sabotage because it holds us back from what we really want. It holds us back from the things that we really desire. Now, let me give you an example of how procrastination has actually kept me safe, because we don't do things that we're not getting something out of. That's just basic human nature. Even if it's not logical, we're not logical creatures. So here's how procrastination has served a role in my life, even though, looking at it, I will go, well, procrastination's terrible. Here's why I kept doing it for many years. I had this belief around perfectionism. And it was that if I didn't do something 1,000%, then I wouldn't have to be responsible if it didn't go perfectly. Okay? So let me give you an example. If I waited till the last minute to do a project in school, if I waited till the last minute on some project, paper, whatever that was really, really important to me, then if it didn't go perfectly, if I didn't live up to my full expectations, then I was not a failure because I didn't give it 1,000%. So I developed this habit of procrastination because I kept telling myself, subconsciously, okay, if I don't give it 1,000%, if I don't plan it out, if I don't start it way ahead, then I am not going to be a failure if it doesn't turn out perfectly. So I procrastinated a lot. And I was aware that I was doing it, but guess what? I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't connecting all the dots, and I wasn't supported enough to go, all right, here's how I can fix that. Here's how I can go and be held accountable to get started earlier. I could make out a project plan and have somebody help me and make sure I stay on track for that. So this pattern continued for me. So I would always put things off, big projects, things that, when I would start the project, I would have this great intention. I would say, I am going to do an awesome job this time. This time it's going to be great. I'm going to lay it out. I'm starting early. Well, guess what inevitably took over? That really powerful habit of procrastination, where I would say, find reasons, find excuses, find other things that I would, use to fill up my time. And so that really, really important project never got the attention over a length of time, broken down into small pieces, that I had intended to give it, because I was procrastinating so that if it wasn't perfect, it wasn't a reflection on me. It wasn't a reflection on me not being good enough. So can you see that progression of how I was subconsciously using procrastination to protect myself from having to face this idea that I wasn't good enough? Because deep down, I believed I wasn't good enough. And so I needed procrastination to protect me so that none of my work actually was a reflection. So that if I wasn't giving it my full effort, I had an excuse. And I know that this is common among high achievers, among really intelligent, really capable people. Procrastination is super, super common. It's a way that we keep ourselves safe. But can you see how it's actually a form of self-sabotage? Because we are holding ourselves back from what we're truly capable of. We are holding ourselves back from our highest potential, from our best selves, from doing our best work and showing up in the world in a way that serves other people to the best of our abilities. And from ourselves holding us back from what we truly desire to create. So if procrastination is something you're struggling with, there are a lot of tips you can Google. You can spend a lot of time thinking about how to overcome procrastination. You can procrastinate by researching how to overcome procrastination. But it's really, really important to utilize focus when you are working to overcome procrastination. One thing that I recommend that's been really helpful for my clients is to set a timer on your phone for 5 minutes and work on that thing for 5 minutes. And if you do that, you have gotten your victory for the day. That is all you need to do. You can walk away from that project for today. 5 minutes. The first step is to recognize what you're doing to yourself by procrastinating, and then to be willing to take this tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of action. Tiny little bit of action. 5 minutes. That's it. That's it, and you're done. You check it off the list for today. You're going to feel so much better when you spend that 5 minutes. So much better. When you've connected the reality of what you are holding yourself back from, or what you're really doing to yourself by procrastinating, another thing that you can do is you can take a journal. I always keep mine near me for writing down inspiration, thoughts, whatever. And you can write down what procrastination is holding you back from. So let's say there's something in my business that I'm really, really wanting to do, but I keep putting it off. I could say, well, procrastination's holding me back from accomplishing this that I know could be amazing. In my personal life, I procrastinate doing silly things like writing thank you notes, because I feel like if I can't sit down and write something perfect, some really long, heartfelt note for every single person who's done something or given something nice to me, then I just shouldn't start at all. So what winds up happening, the thank you notes don't get written. If I give myself permission to write one thank you note a day, they get done and I feel really good, and I'm able to express gratitude for the people who've done these amazing things for me, have given me, have gone out of their way to be generous with time, money, thoughts, whatever. And it's a beautiful way to give back to people who've been generous with me, right? But as long as I keep telling myself it has to look this way, it has to look this way, it has to look this way, it has to be perfect, procrastination comes in. And I want to be a person who expresses gratitude, but I'm holding myself back from that, and therefore sabotaging my ability to express gratitude, right? By telling myself it has to be perfect. Procrastination is fear in high-heeled shoes. It's a dressed up form of fear. And so is perfectionism. You could swap either of those words. They're interchangeable. Now, one of the biggest ways to overcome procrastination is to get some support. Because the reality is, procrastination is a habit. If you have it, you've had it for a long time. And so if you were going to overcome it on your own, chances are you probably already would have done it by now. And it is holding you back from a lot of things in your life. You can make that list of things that it's holding you back from. If you know you need to do things and you have good intentions of doing a certain thing every day to move your business forward, but you just find yourself procrastinating on it, then it's holding you back from money. It's holding you back from new clients, which are in turn holding you back from all the things you want to do with that money and all the things you want to do for your family with that money, and the debt you want to repay and the trips you want to take and all of those things. It all comes back to the fact that you may not be able to overcome procrastination on your own. Chances are you've tried. So if that's you,